Howdy, folks. This week we're joined with James Blanchfield and Tom Crotty. Johnny Tobin is busy doing rugby things, apparently, so we're down Johnny this week. Is that irony? Is that what you call irony? You know.
That's it. That's after all the slagging he was giving Tom last week about County Carlow and this. Now it's our chance. It's our chance to get a cut back at him when he's not here.
I think he chickened out of this one.
Too much of a ribbon last week, man,
Yeah.
Johnny. Johnny's flat out. It's a busy time for him as well, of course. There are lots of different bits and pieces going on as well. Lads, all around. Last weekend, not a good weekend. The three clubs were beaten in the Leinster League. Tullow, Carlow, of course, and Kilkenny. We'll start with Carlow because it was the heartbreaking nature of how he is lost, which was the worst part of it. The last gasp drop goal, I watched the video, Tom, and you were busy defending away on the line like warriors. And I don't think anyone was expecting that ball to go back to your man, even though you could see him pacing back to get ready for that drop goal. But Jesus, what a way to lose.
It was absolutely heartbreak. We started like it was a really strange match. I'd say like our defense all day was absolutely super. They were off the line. We matched them physicality. I reckon we were probably more physical than they were. We had so many chances that just went to begging. The difference between the two teams, Wicklow are a good side, but they're not a brilliant side. They're very beatable. Totally, if you were heading out the next day, I'd have no fear with them. Like the only difference between the two sides to me was just their accuracy, and also I'd say just to have that little bit more belief in what they do. Our lads just haven't quite got it yet. You know, it's just that fine little tweak, those little things. Their line out was the difference really between the two sides. They were calm when they got penalties. They kicked it into touch. They just walked up, got their penalty, went up, caught the ball. We kicked the touch a few times, butchered the line out. Just silly little mistakes is the difference between you always go on about fine margins in a game. But there's so many fine margins in that. We had him in the scrum. We had him around, and definitely our defense was top notch against them. Like the difference was that last minute of the game where they didn't panic, and their 10 was gone off and all. Like we took their 10 out. Their 10 went off injured. He was a cracking player. Was getting all their kicks, so they had a number of chances to go to kick penalties for a goal. Or kicking and they didn't do it. They worked their time, and in fairness to them, like it was a cracking drop goal. Look, I don't think, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think we would have done that. And if it was the other way around, I don't think we would have done it. We wouldn't have got that. We wouldn't have got that drop goal.
Was that Niall Earls? Tom was their 10. Was that the chap?
Yeah. Like he got a fine kicks earlier on, and like we took a chance. We got a nice try in the second half. Just heartbreaking. Just as I say, fine margins. Its accuracy is the biggest thing, and we weren't accurate enough. They were more accurate than us on the day. You know, like our seconds. I went up with a seconds game beforehand was cracking match, and the seconds won. What's the score? That is seconds won 24-22.
Yeah. Plenty of confidence, so to take out that loss, even though I suppose just in terms of the improvements you're seeing, because a few weeks ago, Tom, we were talking before the season kicked off, and really didn't know what sort of territory you were heading into there. But a couple of wins under your belt and a close one like that, it's not too bad.
No, it's not, and it was really down to like last week. The week before, we were giving out. We were not happy. We were the team talk after on the pitch was the coach wasn't happy, management weren't happy, players weren't happy. This time around, you could sense everybody knew. Yeah, we should have had the 2 points, or we should have had a win. But we played so much better, and when you saw the team performance, you know that it's in them and it's nearly there. It will come. like go back to the seconds. There's so many players on that seconds team. After watching them pushing, now going to push. There's going to be serious competition for places, on our first, which we haven't had that in a long time.
Yeah.
And as I said, there's a great buzz around the club. Like, I mean, we lost our first game, won the J2s. The club had a terrible weekend in youths. I think our 15s was the only team to win in the youths. Then the Rhinos, the two girls teams had 2 great wins. They beat it. The 16s beat a tie on Monday night in the cup, and the 14s beat Enniscorthy in the cup on Saturday. So like a mixed bag, but sure, look, at least the club is happy.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Progress.
It definitely it's a hell of a lot better than we were 2 years ago. Actually, we trained last Tuesday night just gone, and an off week. 2 years ago, we would have had barely any numbers because you had the weekend off, and lads wouldn't have given a toss really yet, Whereas this week there was nearly a full complement of players there, and even lads who were injured or had just tweaked, little tweaks or niggles, they came and they stood on the sideline. That wouldn't have happened 2 years ago or a year ago.
There you are, Tom. Great progress. Great to hear it as well.
Absolutely.
James Blanchfield, Monkstown. What happened?
In fairness, like the final score probably doesn't reflect the whole game, but like Monkstown are a cracking side. Like I was chatting with Doctor earlier on, and he was chatting with Manners, the director of rugby from Monkstown there on Monday. I think they have 12 or 13 players in their J1 squad that have played for Ireland at some level. Be it Irish clubs or Irish youths, Irish under 20s. So at J1 level, it's difficult to compete with that. But in context of the game, like very, very same, nearly carbon copy as Carlow and Wicklow. Like their accuracy was better than ours when they got the ball in the important positions. They turned it into scores. Their scrum accuracy was incredible. Like they were pinging darts off the tail and peeling off the tail and going. When we were getting lineouts, we were rushing them. We were going up and then it'd throw crooked and we'd lose our platform. And suddenly, after working hard to get up into their 22, crooked line out or a line out over the top, they win possession, booted back down. So in fairness, we were probably responsible for the loss ourselves as well. But they, in fairness, Monkstown are a very, very good side, and I really believe now having, like, I didn't make it up, but I watched it on it was live on YouTube, and I watched it, and I think by looking at them, they probably should win the league. I think it's between themselves and Sea Point, really. And we have Sea Point up next to Kilkenny on Saturday week. But Monkstown are a bloody good side, and it could have been close. Like we left, I think 9 points again. We missed off the boot. We could have scored another try at the end. So like that's nearly 22, 23 points off the boot in 2 games that we're after missing. So we have a problem there. Like Jake has a slight tweak on his groin, and I think he's probably afraid to test it a little bit, to try and take more kicks, and I think he's probably worried in case it goes. So Jake is probably a little bit undercooked because of that at 10. But I think, like Tom said, if we can work on our accuracy and get that right and win our own lineouts again, get that timing right and get the throwing right and all that, we probably could beat them in Kilkenny. And that's a big thing to say when I just said that they're probably going to win the league, but we could beat them in Kilkenny. Like we had parity in the scrum, our attack play was good, but it was just those small bits of accuracy. Disappointingly, our seconds couldn't field. We had 22 players last weekend who were unavailable for whatever reason.
Wow.
I'd probably put a lot of it down to a fact that it's students working on Saturdays, can't get off for the day to go to Dublin, where for home matches, like we had 22 togged out the previous week, but a home match, we have that. Then for an away match, young fellas, they have to work a few bob in their pockets going back to college on Sunday. So we just had no seconds team out last week. Our club president, Dave Matthews, was actually willing to tog out if it meant getting numbers onto the field. Like, I mean, Dave is 52, but that's what he's willing to go. But look I think, yeah, we lost, but I think the biggest disappointment of the day for everyone was an injury to Gary Dunn. Gary broke his ankle. So bad break as well. So he's gone for the season. And like Gary's been number 8 for us. He's been he's been immense for us for the last 2 seasons. And to lose him in just an inconspicuous kind of was just a simple tackle. Fella came in and I think he just went back on his ankle and he fractured it. So I think he has to get I think he's already had it operated on and needs another operation in 3 months. Connor Walsh limped off. He's on crutches. So, in context of our squad depth, losing the 2 boys for what could be prolonged durations of time could be serious for us, So, but look, at the other side of it is we have Sea Point at home now next week, and next weekend. We look forward to that. Hopefully, we can have a few players back. I know Jack Nolan is back now. Doc was telling me today it's like he'll go straight into the squad on account of the injury to Gary, and hopefully we can get a result against Sea Point at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some good win for the women though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Women on Friday night. That's
against
massive.
Tullow.
Against Tullow, and Tullow were good. Like I was at a wedding, so I didn't actually get to go to any rugby the weekend. But like Tullow apparently really brought it, and like 9-10 times in the game they were buried inside the Kilkenny half. The girls just dug deep, won turnovers or forced mistakes, win possession, and win penalties, and a massive result. And for Kilkenny, to get them girls back in competitive rugby for the first time in 3 or 4 seasons, I'd say, a lot more, maybe 4 or 5, to get competitive girls rugby, women's rugby back, Kilkenny is massive for the club, and it's really picking up out there. So credit to them as well, Mags Hennessy and Peter Moss for their work to get them back there.
Absolutely.
I think you've a couple of girls from Carlow gone over now.
Is there?
Yeah.
Fair enough. I didn't realise that.
There's Kiva Owens and Kiva was in the college as well. She, I think she's gone over, and I think she said to me there's 2 more girls going with her.
Very good. That's it. And I mean, hopefully, selfishly, it's great that they're coming down, but collectively, you'd hope that Carlow can get a team back as well in the next couple of seasons as well.
Oh, that's what we're trying to work with at the moment. So hopefully. Well, it's going to be a longer project than a couple of seasons. It'll probably be about 2 to 3 years by the time we get that project off the ground. But it's just trying to get the girls at the moment, and they're flying. We have our minis. We have mini girls actually this weekend for the first time ever.
Yeah, that's where it starts.
Yeah, we had. I had 20 girls under between 7 and 12 last Saturday morning. Arrived up for the first time.
Wow!
Yeah,
it's great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see Kiva was actually in the squad there last week. All right, I'm looking at the squad here online.
Yeah. Look, the girls need rugby. They don't. They could have gone to Tullow or could have gone to a tie, but they decided Kilkenny. So whatever. To be honest, it's just wherever they wanted to go themselves, and maybe they knew somebody down there. So the women went off.
Youths for us, it was a great weekend last weekend. There was good wins all around for all of the boys' youths teams, and one of the things that we've actually said in Kilkenny now that we're going to actually stop doing is we're going to stop looking at results. And kind of Vinny O'Shea, club secretary, has kind of asked people stop looking at the results and just look at the performance and look at the development of the players and see how they're going, because it's and kind of at youths under 13s, 14s results in secondary. It's about making sure these young boys and girls are being developed and that their skills are important, coming along as they should.
That's great stuff. Your ladies' teams are back out this weekend. James, Tullow, they're out as well. They're in Division 1, of course. And you're out this weekend as well. And the men, of course, throwing the feet up.
Yeah, men have a free weekend off, and just chatting with Doc there. He's delighted to have that as well. That a break is needed because there's a few battered and bruised bodies now after the last 3 or 4 weeks on the go. So and I think the women are away to De La Salle on Friday or Saturday. So
I think it's Saturday.
That's good that they're going to stay going. And look, it's about momentum, and it's about keeping momentum. And there will be good days and there'll be bad days, but it's just about keeping them together now and making sure that everyone stays competing. And it's one of the funny things about the Leinster League that I'm kind of seeing. It's peaks and troughs of doom and gloom. You win a game in the Leinster League and everyone is on a high and on a buzz. Because it's an 8-team league, you lose a game, suddenly it's bloody panic stations, and we're fucking going to go down, and we're going to get relegated, and it's mental. It's mental, the things that you hear. Like one day, geez, they're a great team, they played great, and the next day they lose up in Monkstown, and there's lads looking around, scratching their heads, wondering, geez, what are we going to do? Are we going back down to Division 1B next year? It's ridiculous, really. Some of the stuff that goes on.
But it's so easy, like, because we're trying to. You're looking at, we'll say for us, okay, yeah, we lost to Wicklow, but we're still in the top three. Potentially can go beat Boyne. You could beat Boyne away and home. You could go out and beat Wicklow away and end up top of the league.
Yeah.
Or you could go out, or you can go out next weekend and do something stupid and go over to Longford and lose, which is a very big possibility. And then you're looking at mid-table.
Yeah.
And it needs to be sorted before Christmas. You have to kind of get it on a roll before Christmas comes, because if you don't, like, as you say, it's all great for us, and we're going on about how wonderful things are, but as you say, like, it could turn around in the morning, lose to Longford, next minute you get lads going, oh, here we go again.
That's it. And I mean, it's very easy to get stuck in that negative rhetoric, like, of, oh, I'd have to lose, and now that team are no good, like. But for us in Division 1A, there's two teams that are standout. We can already see it. It's Sea Point and Monkstown. Now Ashbourne are making a bit of a comeback. There are a lot of players coming back from injury. They won the weekend. They beat Stonians the weekend. But you know what? You're right, Tom. You need to be safe in this league before Christmas.
Yeah.
Then you can plan for your cup.
He had a great result. Like, I know what Manners is putting into that team.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot. We'll say a lot of work going into it. So
a lot. And look, we all know, in fairness, and
that team went straight through. They went it from Division 1B, and they just want to go senior. They want to go back to senior.
Like, I mean, the Declan Lavery there on the bench, and Declan was an Irish clubs prop for a couple of seasons ago, and he's injured. He'll probably be back in the next few weeks. But it's bizarre. Like, for us, we genuinely feel that top four will be good for us. As a club, do we have ambitions of going senior? Probably not. But we probably would like to try and win the league as well.
Well, we'd love to be up in 1A. I mean, and there's no shame in saying it. Like, that's our goal. Our goal.
That's where Carlow belong, though, Tom.
Like, we need to be in 1A, and our lads want to play Saturday rugby. We all want to play. Like, years ago, you mightn't have wanted, because Sunday was the day off, and Sunday you went on the last Sunday night, and people didn't mind struggling into work there on Monday morning. But those days are gone. So people want to be able to go out, like, go play a match, watch a match on Saturday, have a few pints Saturday night, recover Sunday, spend time with the family. And it's a huge difference.
And there's a good side of that for J1, but where we're kind of seeing the issue with it is at J2, because we're a country club, and we have fellas who are in college who have to work on Saturdays, and they're not available for J2 rugby for away matches.
Yeah.
So there's maybe there might be benefit in playing J2 matches on a Friday night, or something like that. But like, Carlow belong in Division 1. Like, that Carlow are Division 1 club all day long on history alone. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely our goal for it to go there, and that's like, if it's not this year, it's next year, it's the year after, but it has to be got. And I think we're doing really well, and I think Kilkenny are doing really well, and I know Tullow struggled a bit this weekend again, but like, I think the clubs are doing really well to try and retain the few players that we actually have, and to gain the few extra. Like, it's such a hard job to get players in. Like, we went through the list. Nearly all the players on the first and seconds last weekend. I think there's only 3 players on the first squad that weren't from Carlow Youth. There was only, and I think in the whole, between the two panels, you're talking maybe 10 players, between the 10 or 12 players between two panels that actually didn't come up through the youth. That's
what you want.
You're talking 40 players, and maybe 10 of those might have been through the college or just come working in Carlow, but the rest of them are all Carlow youth.
We were speaking about it at the committee meeting on Monday night. Like, you look at what Enniscorthy have done, and it's remarkable, and it's kind of, Decky O'Brien is a big help to it. But like, they've gone senior totally on a self-sufficient basis. Like, they're all from Enniscorthy. They're holding on to youth players and getting them through. Like, what are Enniscorthy doing different as well? Like, that they're fully self-sufficient. It's remarkable.
Yeah, I think they've just been working hard over the last couple, because the youth haven't been wonderful either. Like,
No.
it's not as if, and this is where you hit the nail on the head. Stop looking. Okay, your 18s should be looking to. You have to start by the time kids get to under 18s. Then you're looking at results, because you should be at that stage. You're kind of judging what type of teams they are, and hopefully they would be in at least a Premier. If you have a Premier 18s team coming through every year, you'll be doing well. But down the line, if you can have teams that are just getting kids, because kids will develop at different stages. Like, we go out, our lads, actually, the under 14s or 13s played Kilkenny, and the difference in size between some of the Carlow lads and some of the Kilkenny lads was unbelievable. Like, that's just physicality, just at that age, under 13. They won't catch, like, our lads won't catch, those lads won't catch up to later on. So you can't say that they're not a good team, or they're not, that's not going to be a good player. You're judging it completely on like, you're always going to have teams that will have a couple of bigger guys and a couple of, faster guys, just develop differently. So if you're judging on results, you're saying that, oh, well, our teams are crap. Is it better that you have 20 lads or 30 lads training and wanting to play a game than to have 15 lads that are playing really well and next minute they're gone?
Yeah, and like, I look at kind of, I mentioned them a few weeks ago with Mick McGrath, and he'll probably text me now later on giving out to me about it. But kind of Mick has a formula, and kind of Mick's objective is to teach young fellas and young girls how to play rugby, and teach them how to manage a game plan and all of the different processes and that. And he does it in a very methodical way. He's really good at it. So when these lads get to under 18 like that they're ready, and I think that's what's important. And as I said, Enniscorthy seem to have done it very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Lads, will we have a chat about the Irish squad?
Well, we were all wrong.
Yeah, we were all wrong. Just for the local headlines anyway, no Ed Byrne, Tom Daly. Tom Daly was an outside chance, but I thought Ed might feature on it now, but there's been, of course, plenty of competition there as well. Where will we start? Will we start with the headlines or pick our way through the squad? But Simon Zebo's back in anyway. I wasn't expecting it, but then again, when you think about it, he's worth a shout in the training camp, see how he gets on, and go from there.
Zebo's in. Balakoon is in, which I think is great. I think he's going to be electric for Ireland, So and it's actually great to see James Hume get a rattle or get a shot at it.
Yeah,
he deserves it.
And Dan Sheehan.
Dan is a fantastic hooker. I'm really excited about Dan over the next couple of years.
Yeah,
fantastic player.
I can't believe he's 6'3".
He's
queer. That is, I was going to say it's queer tall
lad.
It's queer tall lad for for a hooker.
He is a big chap.
Yeah,
but he's fantastic. His darts are fantastic. Probably, Jesus, I don't know. I'd be shot for saying it, but he's probably one of the best darts throwers in the country at the moment. I think just on accuracy, I think at the moment.
It's probably a big story. The Stockdale's not there as well, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's Simon Zebo keeping Stockdale out.
It could be, or is Balakoon keeping Stockdale out?
Yeah, good point.
Jesus, you're all very quiet there. There's one lemon sitting there in the backs that I'm going.
Hold on there, lemon. Come here. I want to
find my absolute lemon on that line.
First of all, Billy Burns wasn't included in the club or in the squad, which is I'm delighted about. Sorry, Billy, if you're listening.
Who are you saying, McCluskey?
No, Billy Burns.
Oh, Tom, are you saying McCluskey?
Tom's lemon.
If you're looking at the selection sheet, he's near enough to McCluskey.
Hold on now.
Hume.
James Lowe.
Hey.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely cannot, for God forbid me, I cannot understand what James Lowe is doing there.
Okay. Well, I agree with you.
And
let's
there is
talk about
so
this.
like looking at our backline, it's actually scary because I was just looking at it yesterday, and I was just going through and going, how many actual world class backs have we got? Johnny Sexton is world class, but getting over the hill. Murray was world class again, getting over the hill. But
Half backs or backs.
really, not just backs in general. Like what
Gary
sort of a
Ringrose.
backline?
Yeah.
Compared to like I watched Saracens the other day against Bath, and holy, like the way their backs were moving. Oh, like it was just after watching the games at the weekend, our provincial games at the weekend, and watching some of the games on the Premiership.
It's different.
Yeah.
Like holy mother God, like
Yeah. Leinster are still very undercooked, Tom. There were a lot of mistakes in the backs the other day. Should the forward scored all the tries. It was up in the RDS forward. It's like all the backs are just simmering. There's it's I don't know what's happening. I
Well,
agree with
I watched Munster and against Connacht. Connacht definitely should have got the win. I mean, we know that was an offside. But on the other hand of it, if you look at Paul Boyle touching the ball, tipping the ball off for his try, he actually didn't push the ball through the mark. The referee didn't see it, so there's 2 hits on that. But on a direct thing between Joey Carberry and Jack Carty.
right.
Like Jack Carty was streaks ahead. Even though Jack Carty wasn't 100% wonderful, but I mean he was
consistent, Tom.
Joey Carberry looked off pace, he looked nervous, he didn't look comfortable, and
he hasn't stepped forward really.
I cannot for the life of me see why he's back. I know he probably would shoot his confidence down altogether if he didn't make it, and if he is going to be potentially one, but I think it was so unfair that Jack Carty didn't get a hands up again, just even get a chance.
I think I'd have to agree. We're all willing these halfbacks to just shoot out of shadows and just, step in perfectly at the time that Johnny Sexton just starts to drop off the international panel and everything's going to be grand. Sure, look, we've Joey Carberry. It was not happening. He came back from the injury and that's grand. He hasn't blown the world away.
No.
He hasn't. Let's be honest about it. We're all willing him to be great. We want improvements there as well. Like Harry Byrne is Ross Byrne is grand with Leinster. He's consistent, all that sort of stuff. But he's not in that reckoning at the moment. Harry's in, right? Harry played a couple of games so far for Leinster this season. He's injured. He picked up a bit of an injury, but like he's showing promise in it. But again, he hasn't played an awful lot of games. And there's people giving out that he's included in the squad simply the fact that he very little game time. But then again, we've only had a couple of rounds of the URC anyway before the squad was picked, so it's hard to gauge an awful lot unless you had a couple of savage games. But yeah.
Actually, a good one for you there. I was one of my good friends. He's involved with the IQ Rugby over in the UK, and apparently this guy Rafi Quirk, he's a scrum half with Sale. Apparently, he was being teed up to come over to some of the Irish provinces. Apparently, he's the real deal, world class. And apparently, Eddie Jones has told him, "You're going nowhere. You're staying in Sale. That you can forget about IQ Rugby. That you're going to be involved in the English squad in the autumn internationals." Rafi Quirk is his name. I think his grandfather was Irish.
I have to be if he's a Quirk.
Yeah.
Plenty of them around Tullow, so there is. Yeah.
But they're doing huge work over there in the UK on this IQ Rugby, trying to identify players to bring them over as well. Massive work. Like, I mean, Kevin Maggs that's his full-time job. And they're having a lot of screening sessions all around the UK in the various different regions. I think it's Kevin Maggs and Joe Lydon are leading it for the IRFU. And pretty much anyone with a little bit of Irish lineage who's showing some potential will be brought in and put into the system. But this guy, they were really targeting as the big name to come out of IQ Rugby, and apparently Eddie Jones has told him, "Nope, you're coming with us."
Oh, Jesus.
Well, I tell you, yeah, but then on a scrum half basis, like your man from the north, what you call him,
Class. Doak.
like
Nathan Doak.
I'd like to see him getting some sort of a run. Like Craig Casey was like a rabbit lost in the headlights at the weekend. I know
That's the thing about Craig Casey.
Well, he was
He is
slow in
inexperienced,
it was slow ball. He was kicking the ball up and under the whole time. Not his game of what he was supposed to be doing. If you looked at him at under 20s level, everything was fastball. Like he's playing a game that he's not used to, or just was not comfortable. Looks like he wasn't comfortable with.
I'd worry that Craig Casey could be another Jeremy Staunton, and a fella who shows brilliant promise early in his career, and then it's just going to plateau out. And I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I really like him. I think he's class to watch, and he's so into going at everything and having quick taps and this kind of carry on and keeping defenses honest. And I think you're right, Tom. They need to. Well, as you said a few weeks ago, we're not South Africa.
No, and let's see next weekend, like when Connacht play Ulster. Then, like, I know it's an interprovincial Connacht and Munster, so it's always going to be a rocky game. But I just felt that Munster were back with all the older fellas back in again and went back to the same crap that they've been playing.
I had the very same sentiment when I saw the team.
And it's like you're looking at an Irish squad there. Like Peter O'Mahony, yes, he's fantastic in the line-out and does his works. But Jack O'Donoghue is playing out of his skin, and he's and Jack O'Donoghue's actually turning very much into Peter O'Mahony's style of player as a captain, and also his ability in line-outs. He needs it's fantastic. Like you can't. Our pack is unbelievable there. Our back row and the back rows that's left out of it.
Oh yeah,
it's
ridiculous.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. But again, like I don't. Does Peter O'Mahony need to be in that squad?
Well, they signed a 2-year deal with him last year, and he was the only person that got a 2-year deal in the pandemic, which I was really surprised about. Because like Tyke Furlong only got one. Well, he asked for one anyway. Johnny Sexton only got one, and like I think there's a bit of pressure to throw him in there from I don't know.
I don't know. I think the war horses seem to call him down in Munster. The thing that strikes me about Peter O'Mahony is when you doubt him the most, he comes out and gives a performance for the ages. But he does some such stupid things on the pitch, like the red card against Wales.
Yeah,
like that was needless. Like he didn't need to go into that ruck the way he went into it. But I would tend to side with Tom on it. I think there are other players out there that would probably fill that position better than him.
Well, before I would have looked at Munster team and said, "Oh, if Peter O'Mahony was injured, you'd go, oh Jesus!" Like I know he's still the main. Every team has a go-to player, especially in the lineouts. And Peter has always been. He's always been there for them. Leinster have the same. All teams have the same. They have a go-to player. But I think at this stage, with the likes of Jack O'Donoghue, should be replacing more sense with him.
Yeah.
Getting some sort of a run out.
Yeah, and Clendellen coming through, and the other Hodnett coming back. Hodnett played for UCC last weekend, so like Hodnett is probably Peter O'Mahony, but more dynamic.
Yeah. Well, you have and like it's great to see Osborne being brought into the external squad, and your man from Kerry.
He's from Waterford.
He's Waterford.
Yeah, he would have. He kind of a bit of a nomad. He played a bit with Carrick-on-Suir, and then I think he went to Dungarvan, and then I think he was at Water Park.
Right.
But he's from Waterford, yeah.
Very good.
I see Water Park had it up online there yesterday, congratulating him on his selection.
I think he's definitely one to watch for the future at 6'10". 6'10" and can run, like as I said before, he played full back in school, and that's all. I mean, he's definitely has a serious amount of potential.
What about Healy, the out half for Munster? There's people giving out that he's not included as one of the half-back options.
Well, I think it's too soon.
It's too hot and cold though. So
he hasn't had. I would have still like to see him playing a big game again. He needs to play a big game.
Just what I was going to say.
like everyone would say, what you call him was in there for Kieran Frawley. I mean, Kieran Frawley's getting a run.
And has been for the last 2-3 seasons.
Yeah, like he's getting his run in there now for the Irish squad.
Yeah.
And he's going to be tested at a different level. And that is good to see him. Going to see what he's like at that level.
Yeah.
You know, but he's worked hard. Like he's that bit older. He's 23. Like he's been working hard for the last 3-4 years there with Leinster. So, and he's been getting a lot of game time.
Yeah,
I know outside of injuries, he's had a lot of game time. Whereas I just feel that maybe it's not the other fella's not his time.
they're not giving. Yeah, it's back to the whole Munster thing again. Like, you know, as you said a minute ago, Tom, they seem for these bigger games to revert back to the other fellas, where Leinster always seem to give a chap a shot earlier.
Yeah. Well, definitely, and I see. I like Ulster are definitely have changed the way they're playing a bit. They're definitely changing with the play, and it's a terrible pity Addison got injured because I think he was just
poor fella.
I really felt so sorry for him because there's another potential Irish back. Like he's super strong, super
Actually,
footballer.
on that another IQ man, but on that kind of selection, Mike Healy could be considered himself slightly unlucky as well because he's been flying so far this year.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, there was calls for him to be in there as well. Yeah, the James Lowe thing, as much as a Leinster fan as I am, I'd have to agree with you, Tom. He's a great chap going forward, but it's people are running at him, it's a different story. And we're even I was giving out about him last weekend up in the RDS. Just missed tackles and just stupid stuff.
But that's why I'm cross, because I actually watched that game and I'd always look and see, you know, the players that I had just presumed he would have been gone out of the squad at this stage. So I was a complete shock when I saw him back in, especially the way he played last weekend.
Yeah,
like I don't see where he's bringing. Like there has to be we have to at this stage be looking to replace the Johnny Sextons, the Conor Murray, the Keith Earls with class players coming through.
Yeah, but you like on Lowe, the Kiwis didn't seem to lose much sleep when he left. You know, and it's rare that they make a mess up. Yeah, Sevu Reece was coming to Connacht only for he was a naughty boy. He probably would have gone to Connacht and been in the mix for Ireland now. Now he's playing for the All Blacks, but you know, the Kiwis didn't seem to lose a beat when James Lowe packed up his bags and came to Ireland.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I suppose that's the great thing about these autumn internationals, and especially with the lineup of games, Japan, New Zealand, Argentina, we get a chance to have a look at a good few different players. Like obviously your best of the best will be out for New Zealand. You know, your 3/4 strength will be out for Japan, and then Argentina aren't pushovers anymore either.
No.
You know, so.
But did you hear, Tom, about the tickets are going through Ticketmaster now? They're not coming through the clubs.
Yeah, I got mine this morning.
Good man. Good man.
Yeah.
That's a disappointment, though. Will that stay happening that way?
Well, it's still through the clubs. You still apply through the clubs. It's just they're using Ticketmaster as who looks at distributor.
Yeah.
All right. So the club have to buy them off Ticketmaster.
Yeah, everything goes through Ticketmaster. So I presume Ticketmaster get a percentage of all the tickets for looking after it.
Okay.
So maybe it's a better way of doing it, to the fact that you get your tickets online now instead of having to wait for your tickets to be sent out. I suppose if all the clubs are sending out tickets by post, now you have your ticket on your phone.
Yeah. So the way I had heard it, that it was free for all on Ticketmaster, that the clubs
No, you still have to put in your application. Like we put in your application. Yeah, you have to put in your application for tickets.
Okay.
And then if you're successful, the only problem is you have to look in your spam for it.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have known, because I was waiting for these tickets to come and see did I get what I asked for, and an email was sent out this morning to check spam just in case people were giving out it. That's where my tickets were.
I must let the lads know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, lads. Well, we'll probably wrap it up there for the night. Enjoy your weekend off.
And you too, Stephen. You have a nice handy weekend ahead of you now.
Sure. I'll throw my feet up, yourself. And
that's it, yeah.
About
50 Do about 50k there on Sunday morning, will you?
Yeah, before you even have your breakfast.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can, give the lads a resuscitation tomorrow on Saturday morning. I'd say they're doing a court session on Friday night.
They're needed too.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some of the stuff that my son is preparing for it. So
Mobile phones left at the door.
mobile phones definitely left at the door. So
No, lads.
I'd say enjoy it. But look, that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Enjoy your weekends, lads.
Radio.
I will
Thanks,
indeed.
Stephen.
For
Thanks,
talking
Tom.
to us. Cheers, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.